soft, soothing voice, like a whisper carried through candlelight. Hello there, my friend. Before we begin, I'd like you to find a place where you can rest, somewhere still, where the air feels calm and gentle. Maybe you're lying down, your head sinking into a pillow, or perhaps you're sitting, eyes half closed, listening to the sound of my voice. Wherever you are, let your shoulders loosen, your jaw unclench, and your breath slow, in and out, just like the slow toll of a distant bell. In and out, each breath softer than the last. Let the world outside fade away now. All that remains is this moment and the soft glow of imagination. Tonight we're drifting back in time to a place of misty canals, cobbled streets, and echoing chimes. A place where the night smells faintly of river water and warm metal. Our story tonight begins in the ancient city of Bruges in the year 1465. The Bellmaker's workshop. The moon sits low over the rooftops, its reflection trembling on the surface of the canal. A cool fog wraps the city like a silk shawl, and through the haze you can hear it. The deep, resonant heartbeat of Bruges, the cathedral bells, their voices roll across the water, each tone finding its echo among the darkened gables and timbered beams. But inside one small workshop on the edge of the square, a different sound hums quietly through the night, a slow, rhythmic rasp. There, beneath a roof of old oak and soot-stained rafters, works the Bellmaker of Bruges. His name is Willem van der Kloot. He is neither rich nor poor, but known by everyone in Bruges who listens for beauty. His hands are thick with years of labor, but his eyes still gleam like polished bronze when the firelight touches them. He leans over a half-finished bell, its surface warm and smooth beneath his palms. The air smells of smoke and beeswax, and the hearth crackles softly, casting amber light across the stone floor. Outside, the world sleeps, but here, Willem works by candle and moonlight. His tools arranged neatly on a wooden table. Chisels, rasps, tuning forks, and a small flask of oil that glistens like liquid sunlight. He hums to himself, a tune no one else knows. Each note he hums matches the bell he is crafting, as if the melody helps shape its soul. The heart of bronze. In the 15th century, a bell was not just a tool. It was a heartbeat for a town. It marked births and funerals, harvests and holy days, storms and silences. Every sound a bell made carried meaning, and so, to create one was no simple craft. It was devotion. Willem knows this. He knows that a bell's voice is not just metal and air, but the memory of the fire that birthed it. He moves slowly now, filing the inner rim of the bell grain by grain, each motion steady, circular, unhurried. He listens, and listens again. When a bell is too thick, its tone is dull and heavy. Too thin, and it trembles, unsure of itself. The perfect sound lies somewhere in between, balanced like a sigh on the wind. He tests the note, tapping the bronze with a small wooden mallet. Dong! The sound rises, deep and round, filling the small room like honey poured into glass. He smiles faintly. Almost there. Bruges at night. Beyond his window, Bruges slumbers under a quilt of fog. A few lanterns burn low along the quay, their flames trembling as if dreaming. A barge glides silently through the canal, its oar strokes echoing softly. Somewhere in the distance, a dog barks once. Then all falls still again. The air is cool and damp, and if you were to step outside, you would smell the faint sweetness of malt from the breweries, the tang of wet cobblestones, and the metallic whisper of rain about to fall. But inside the Bellmaker's workshop, there is only warmth, only the golden breath of fire, only the soft scrape of Willem's rasp and the gentle whisper of time. The pouring of the bell hours pass unnoticed. The world has drifted deeper into night, and Willem stirs the forge. Tonight he will pour. The metal must be just right, the bronze a blend of copper for warmth and tin for clarity. Too much of either, and the sound will be wrong for decades. He lifts a crucible with both hands, his muscles trembling from the weight. The molten bronze glows white gold, as if it carries a piece of the sun itself. He breathes deeply, in and out. He tilts the crucible. The glowing river flows into the mold, slow and steady, filling every curve, every letter of the Latin script engraved within. Ave Maria, ora pro nobis. Hail Mary, pray for us. The bell will be blessed tomorrow at dawn, but tonight it sleeps in its cradle of sand, cooling beneath the quiet breath of the workshop. Willem wipes his brow, sets down the tongs, and sits by the forge. The coals pop gently, casting sparks that drift upward like fireflies. He takes a sip of ale from a small mug, its warmth soothing his throat, and for the first time in hours, he allows himself to rest. The Song of Bells. Outside, the cathedral bells begin to ring, first one, then another, their tones weaving through the mist like silk ribbons. Willem closes his eyes and listens. He can tell each bell apart. The Saint Gudule, bright and silvered, the Margareta, slow and solemn, the Dominus, proud and steady. He has tuned many of them himself, each one a voice he remembers like an old friend. He hums again, softly now, matching their rhythm, the breath of the city itself. There's an old belief in Bruges that bells are alive, that when they ring together, their voices rise to heaven, carrying the prayers of the sleeping. And maybe, just maybe, they remember the hands that made them. As Willem sits there, the glow of the forge fades to a soft ember. He leans back, his chair creaking gently. Outside, rain begins to fall. The drops tap the window pane like fingers on glass. Slow at first, then steady, soothing. He can smell the rain mixing with the forge smoke, that strange, sacred scent of earth and fire and peace. He whispers a quiet blessing to the bell cooling in its mold, his voice barely audible over the rain. May you sing true and call the hearts of Bruges home. His eyelids grow heavy, the rain deepens, the bells ring again, distant, dreamlike, and slowly. He drifts into sleep as his creation slumbers beside him, waiting for dawn. Pause, soft wind and rain ambience. And as you listen now, perhaps you too can feel the peace of the workshop, the warmth, the glow, the gentle rhythm of tools long set aside. Imagine the mist outside thickening, the city falling silent, and one by one, every light fading to rest. In this stillness, you are safe, you are warm, and everything, every sound, every breath, feels exactly as it should. Let the quiet linger. Let the bells hum softly in your heart. Let yourself drift like fog over water into sleep. Soft continuation. Voice low and melodic, as if spoken beside a gently flickering fire. Our story drifts onward, through the night air of Bruges, where dreams wander like candlelight on rippling water. The workshop stands still now, its door closed against the rain. Inside, the bell rests beneath a linen cloth, cooling slowly, its heart of bronze settling into silence. The coals in the forge sigh softly, glowing faintly like sleeping stars beneath the ash. And Willem, the bellmaker, has fallen asleep beside his workbench, his head bowed, hands folded as though in prayer. The dream of bronze and light. As he sleeps, he dreams, not of wealth or praise, but of sound. In his dream, he stands in the belfry above Bruges, the air damp and clean after the rain. He gazes out over a city still wrapped in mist, its canals shining like ribbons of silver beneath the dawn. The bells above him sway gently, their ropes creaking like the timbers of an old ship. When they ring, it is not a single note, but a chorus, a harmony of warmth, weight, and wonder. Each bell seems to speak a word, a prayer whispered to the sleeping city below. Some ring of joy, others of grief, but together they weave something that feels eternal. Willem smiles in his dream. He does not know whether he is the maker of the sound or merely its witness. But it doesn't matter. In that moment, he belongs to it. He feels the vibration through his bones, through the stone beneath his feet, through the world itself. It is a hymn older than the cathedral, older even than Bruges. The sound of humanity, of creation, of effort, of hope. And just as he reaches out to touch the nearest bell, the dream folds gently into darkness. Dawn over Bruges. When he wakes, light is spilling through the shutters in pale golden bands. The rain has stopped, and the smell of damp earth mingles with morning bread from the bakery next door. Willem stretches, his back stiff, but his heart content. He pulls back the linen cloth from the bell. Its surface gleams faintly, cool and perfect, a halo of morning light caught in its curve. With a careful hand, he taps it once. Dong. The note is soft but pure, round as a sunrise and smooth as still water. It sings not of the night's labor, but of peace earned through patience. He nods, a smile creasing the corners of his eyes. Today, the bell will be carried to the cathedral. The priest will bless it with oil and incense, and the townsfolk will gather to hear its first voice ring out over the canals. The procession. By midday, the square outside the church is alive with quiet excitement. The air smells of fresh bread, wet stone, and roses from the convent garden. Children watch as 4 men carry the new bell on a wooden frame, its polished surface glinting with Latin script. Ave Maria, ora pro nobis, Hail Mary, pray for us. Willem walks beside it, his apron freshly washed, his hands folded behind his back. People nod to him, smiling. They know this is his work, his gift to the city. He bows slightly in thanks, but says little. The joy he feels is quiet, like the hush before a song begins. Inside the cathedral, the stone arches rise high and solemn. Sunlight filters through stained glass, casting rivers of color across the floor, ruby, gold, sapphire, emerald. The bishop murmurs the blessing, swinging a censer that fills the air with sweet smoke. The bell gleams beneath it, its bronze now anointed, sanctified, alive. Then, at last, they hoist it upward. Up into the tower, where ropes creak and pulleys groan softly. Willem watches it rise, his heart beating in rhythm with every pull of the rope. And when the bell reaches its place among the others, the sunlight strikes it just so, a perfect shimmer, like a promise kept. The first toll. The bishop gives a nod. A young boy pulls the rope. The bell swings once, twice, and then boom! The note flows through the tower, down through the nave, out over the square and across the water. Every pigeon takes flight, every ripple in the canal trembles, every heart in Bruges feels, for a moment, just a little lighter. It is a voice, both new and ancient, a sound that seems to know the city better than it knows itself. Willem closes his eyes. He can hear the harmony, his bell blending perfectly with the others, not dominating, not disappearing, just belonging. He breathes in the scent of incense, stone and bronze, and as the last vibration fades into silence, he feels something settle deep within him, a stillness that feels like home, the evening return. That night, the Bellmaker walks home along the canal. The moon has returned, silver and soft, reflecting in the slow-moving water. He passes the bakery, where a few loaves still cool in the window. He passes the inn, where laughter hums faintly from behind old oak doors. And he passes the bridge, where he pauses, leaning over the stone rail to listen. The bells begin again. Their sound drifts across the sleeping city, mingling with the whisper of the wind. He smiles, knowing one of those voices is his own creation, and that long after he's gone, it will still sing to the people of Bruges. each ring marking another heartbeat of the city, another moment of peace. He whispers, almost to himself, "Good night, my friend," as though the bell could hear him. Then he turns homeward. The door of his workshop creaks softly as he enters. He lights one candle, and the small flame dances over the tools, the forge, the table. It all looks the same as it did the night before, but something has changed. The air feels fuller somehow, brighter, alive. He sits for a moment, listening to the rain's faint return, and then, with a contented sigh, he lets the candle burn low. The lullaby of Bruges. And so the bells continue to sing, day after day, season after season, through frost and spring bloom, through laughter and loss. Their sound ripples through every canal, through every open window, through every dream. Sometimes, when the fog is thickest, you can almost hear a whisper beneath the chime, a hum like that of a craftsman at work, as though Willem himself still stands beside the forge, shaping sound from silence, patience from flame. And as the last bell fades into the night, the whole city seems to breathe in unison. Peace settles softly over Bruges, like dust upon bronze or moonlight on water. Now, as you lie here, listening, let that peace fill you too. Imagine the slow toll of the bell in the distance, steady, deep, and calm. Each tone washes over you like a warm wave, releasing every thought, every worry, every ache. The night is safe, the world is still, and somewhere deep inside you, a gentle sound hums in harmony with the bells, a reminder that you too are part of something timeless. So breathe softly, drift slowly, and let yourself rest. Let the last note linger in your mind, carrying you deeper into sleep, where sound and silence become one, and the heart of Bruges beats quietly on. The end. Soft, hush-toned welcome, like candlelight. Hello, dear one. Before our story begins, allow yourself to rest. Let your shoulders grow heavy and warm, your jaw loosen, your brow smooth like calm water. Gently close your eyes, or lower them halfway. Inhale slowly through the nose, and exhale like a quiet sigh. Again, soft and easy. In, 2, 3, and out. 2, 3. As if your breath is a small bellows feeding a peaceful hearth. Notice the space around you, growing kind, safe, and still. Feel the surface beneath you supporting you fully. Nothing to do, nowhere to go, only this soothing moment. If you like, imagine a warm blanket of dusk blue comfort settling over you. With each breath, it grows heavier in the most pleasant way. Let your attention drift down your neck, across your shoulders, down your arms to your hands. If your fingers want to uncurl, let them uncurl. If your palms want to rest open, let them rest open. Now your breath finds a gentle rhythm, the rhythm of a slow tide along a moonlit shore. In, the tide comes home. Out, the tide softens away. When you're ready, we'll step together into a quieter world. A world of soft earth paths, early light and tender leaves that hold old secrets. Our story today begins at the edge of a misty woodland. The dawn path. The first bird hasn't quite found its song, but the sky is already pale with promise. There is a path through the meadow, silvery with dew, and at the path's end waits Linden Vale, a small hamlet folded into the green arms of the forest. There a gentle healer rises with the dawn. Her name is Elowen. She moves quietly so as not to startle the morning. A woolen shawl gathered at her shoulders, a wicker basket at her wrist, a small brass mortar and pestle tucked within, wrapped in linen as one might cradle a precious book. The air is cool, tasting faintly of mint and damp soil. Low mist grazes the meadow grass, and each blade wears a trembling pearl of dew. Elowen loves this hour, not quite night, not yet day, when the world is tender and listening. She believes, as many in the Middle Ages believed, that each plant holds a soul, and that at dawn those souls speak softly to careful hands. She kneels by the first patch of lavender. The narrow leaves are dusky green. The flower spikes a muted purple just waking from sleep. She murmurs thanks, a custom learned from the sisters of the abbey garden, and clips only a little, always leaving enough for bees and breeze. In her basket, lavender for calm and lullabies, sage for clarity, yarrow for courage and clean wounds. If the season is kind, she'll gather a hint of chamomile, its little sons nodding above feathery leaves. As she walks, you hear it, the hush of the meadow, the soft breath of pine at the woodland edge, the small, friendly crackle of a twig somewhere near, like a greeting from an unseen friend. And your breath, still calm, folds into the landscape. A slow tide, easy and safe. The abbey's lesson. Long ago, Elowen learned her craft among stone walls fringed with green. In a monastic herb garden where carved saints watched over raised beds, the sisters taught by touch and scent. Crush the leaf and listen, they would say, for scent is the first language of healing. She remembers their cloister walks, rows of rue and rosemary catching the sun, sweet marjoram, pennyroyal, and good St. John's wort, bright petals laid to dry on clean cloth, and the steady drone of bees threading gold through the air. She learned to make simples, single herb remedies prized for clarity, and to respect the doctrine of signatures, that curious medieval notion that a plant's shape revealed its use, heart-shaped leaves for the heart, speckled patterns for speckled ailments, yellow sap for jaundiced skin. A quaint belief, perhaps, but it taught careful looking and careful looking births gentleness. Elowen also read in the abbey's herbals, texts copied with patience and lamplight hands, where Hildegard's calm counsel wandered among recipes of honey, wine, and thyme. Each page was both instruction and lullaby, as if wisdom had learned to speak softly so it could be heard. All these memories walk with her now, keeping pace like dear companions along the path. And as she walks, you feel your own thoughts declining into hush. The way distant bells fade as the mist grows bright, you can let them fade. You can simply be here, breathing with the earth. Linden Vale wakes. By the time Elowen returns to the village, smoke has begun to curl from a few chimneys, thin grey ribbons writing warm messages into the morning. A baker draws his oven door open. The scent of barley loaves swims into the lane. Two children chase each other past the well, bare feet whispering against the packed earth. A cow bellows once, a sleepy sound with no edge to it. Everything is unhurried, like a brook without stones. Elowen's cottage sits beneath a linden tree so old that its trunk is furrowed with stories. In spring, its blossoms perfume the entire vale, so sweet and steady that even the most anxious hearts find themselves pausing on the doorstep to breathe more slowly. She opens her door with a familiar creak. Inside, the morning light arrives aslant, gilding the shelves where glass jars glow with secrets. Dried rose and nettle, fennel seed and elderflower, strands of bright saffron in a stoppered vial, a small blue bowl full of beeswax pearls. On the table, a beeswax candle, a clay cup with a skimming of yesterday's lavender tea, and the brass mortar waiting like a quiet bell. Elowen sets her basket down and loosens her shawl. She moves with the humility of water. Without hurry, without noise, without any wish to be elsewhere. You can feel the cottage's warmth welcoming you, like a hearth remembering your name. If you like, imagine stepping inside and sitting in an oaken chair, its back worn smooth by many kind shoulders. The linden breeze strokes the shutters, and somewhere a sparrow reorganizes its nest with scratchy pride. You are safe here. The room seems to breathe with you. The mortars whisper. Elowen unwraps the linen and places the mortar in the pool of sunlight. She pinches a tuft of lavender. The buds crumble softly between her fingers, adds a few curls of sage leaf and a whisper of yarrow's feathery green. Into the bowl goes a drip of spring water, clear and shy. Then she begins to grind. The pestle circles the brass with a sound like rain tapping a copper roof. A soft and patient rhythm, steadier than a heartbeat, gentler than a lullaby. Round and round, not forcing, just encouraging. The scent lifts like a blessing. Cool lavender to smooth the edges of thought, earthy sage to brighten the inward light, and the clean, straw-sweet thread of yarrow. A courage plant, a mender plant. Elowen's breathing matches the motion, slow, circular, kind. She hums a tune she learned from the sisters, a melody with more silence than notes. You can almost hear it resting on the rafters, making nests in the quiet. Now, if you wish, let your breath follow the circle of the pestle. In as it curves, out as it glides away. A soft wheel turning, polishing the inside of the moment. Thoughts may come. Let them take a small jar from the shelf. Label themselves and sit politely in silence. You can visit them later. For now, only scent, only warmth, only the low shh of brass. A visit at the door. There's a gentle knock upon the wood. Elowen lifts her head, her eyes as calm as a pond at dawn. At the threshold stands a weaver with careful hands, martyr with a shawl the colour of river stones. Her nights have been restless, she says. Threads of worry knotting themselves in her chest, and her sleep won't hold. Elowen smiles the way a hearth smiles when you open its door. She invites Martyr to sit, pours warm water over a pinch of chamomile and a breath of linden blossom, then adds a drop of honey, thick and golden, like kindly thyme. While the tea steeps, Elowen returns to the mortar. She grinds the lavender, sage and yarrow to a soft paste, adds a drop of almond oil and stirs until it gleams. This is for the temples and the wrists, she says, a little at dusk. And this tea, sip it as the first star appears. Martyr's shoulders loosen, as though a quiet wind has unknotted them. She closes her eyes and inhales. The cottage grows still around her. Even the clock seems to tick more softly, as if it too is enjoying the scent. Elowen speaks in a tone even gentler than before, a tone that knows how to settle straw in a barn and thoughts in a mind. Sleep is a garden, she says. We don't pull it like a rope. We water it, we dim the lamps, we smooth the soil, and in its own time it blooms. Marta nods, sips the tea, and her breath lengthens. Into the garden receives the rain, out the garden shines. The mortar rests now. The candle's flame becomes very small, very steady, like a star that has chosen to stay. Let the scene soften around you, the scent of crushed petals, the hush of old wood, the kindness of tea steam. The room grows softer still, like the inside of a seashell listening to the tide. Marta rests, tea warm in her palms. Elowen smiles, then reaches for a square of fine linen and a length of flax thread. Sometimes, she says, a night asks for a small, steady companion. From a jar she lifts dried lavender buds, pale and fragrant. From another, crumbed linden blossom, the cottage namesake. She adds a hint of chamomile. Small suns now turn to gentle moons, and a breath of crushed hopcone, the way the sisters taught for deeper calm. She spoons the blend onto the linen and gathers the corners together, tying the sachet with 2 quiet loops of thread. There, she whispers, placing it in Marta's hands. Keep this by your pillow. If your thoughts begin to wander, press the cloth and breathe, once, twice, and let the scent call you back. Marta nods, the knot inside her chest, loosening strand by strand. Thank you, she says, voice low as a lullaby. Elowen's smile widens only in the eyes. Go gently, she answers, and sleep when sleep wants you. The door closes with a hush, and the cottage settles into listening again. The still-room prayer, Elowen turns to the shelves. The still-room's quiet heart, garlands of thyme dangle from a beam, and strings of apple rings dry slowly beside orange peel and rose hips. An old basket holds rushes for the floor, New rushes come with spring, as is the village habit, and near the hearth stands a narrow iron spike, a rushlight rest. For those nights when a long candle is more light than a room needs, on the windowsill she keeps a small slate tablet. Upon it are 4 careful chalk marks: matins, lauds, vespers, complin. Not strict bells, but her own private tides for the day. Vespers draws near, the hour when the abbey beyond the wood will sing its low gold into evening. She loves that hour. Sleep is seeded at vespers, she thinks, and harvested at compline. She sets a pan upon the hearth hook and warms water to a hush. In it she drops sprigs of rosemary and a shaving of beeswax, then stirs in honey until the mixture gleams like sunlit amber. This will cool to a salve for winter-burned hands, the sort of comfort you don't notice until the ache is gone. Outside the window the linden leaves breathe, green palms blessing the air. The village lanes carry the slow choreography of evening, a pail set down, a soft laugh, the distant rhythm of a shepherdess step as he counts his flock with the last of the light. Your own breath follows these gentle things without trying. In, the shepherd turns for home. Out, the gate clicks softly behind him. Moonrise errand. A boy arrives before twilight, Toma, a sliver of red at his knee, where adventure and cobblestone misjudged each other. Elowyn crouches with the easy kindness of someone who has mended many moons and knees. "Yarrow for brave blood," she murmurs, washing the scrape with warmed water. She crushes a yarrow leaf between finger and thumb. It releases its hay-sweet apple-bitter scent and presses a maceration to the skin. In the old tales, yarrow was soldier's herb, a styptic to call blood back to stillness. In every century, it's learned the same kindly trick. Toma watches, wide-eyed and solemn, the way children listen with their whole bodies. "Will it leave a scar?" he asks. "Only a small one," Elowyn says, smiling. "Your story needs a few commas." Toma grins, a gap-toothed sunrise, and the comma already begins to fade. When he has gone, the evening has turned blue enough to keep. Elowyn draws her shawl again. There is one more errand. To the abbey gate with a bundle of linden and lavender for Sister Melisende, whose head is heavy these days with the work of winter stores. The woodland path gathers her without sound. Owls consider the hush. A fox writes its cursive across the bracken. Far off, where the trees open to a meadow, the abbey's low bells warm the air, a wine-dark note for vespers, rising and falling like a lantern on a slow rope. Elowyn leaves her bundle with the porter and stands a moment under the arch. A small procession of nuns crosses the courtyard. Their voices enter the chapel like water slipping into an earthen jar. That sound, she knows, is medicine too. Curfew bell. On her way home, the village bell tolls the curfew. That old couvre-feu, cover the fire, the sign to bank the hearth and settle the night. In Linden Vale, doors ease shut without haste, fires dim to an ember's steady heart. Light softens to pools and then to ponds, and then to sleep. Elowyn smiles at the knowledge that sound itself keeps the village safe. A bell to lower the day, a bell to raise the morning, the hours stitched together like a quilt that never chills. When she reaches her cottage, she banks her own fire, a drift of ash coaxed over the coals, a promise that warmth will still be breathing at dawn. Then she takes a clay beaker, pours a little warm milk, and drops in a sprig of crushed lemon balm, a leaf the sisters nicknamed the gladness herb, a pinch of nutmeg, a ripple of honey, a medieval posset, more bedtime than recipe. Steam spirals up, slow as thought leaving the mind. The bed beneath the linden. Her bed is simple, a straw tick turned with the seasons, linen sheets cool to the touch, a woolen blanket carrying the clean ghost of the linden blossoms outside. She sets the little linen sachet on the pillow's edge. Tonight, the cottage keeps her company. Before lying down, she opens the shutter a hand's width. Night enters like a cat who lives here. A thin, helpful breeze explores the rafters and grows content. From somewhere near the well, a frog offers a single dignified remark, then decides he has said enough for one night. Elawen sits on the bed's edge and smooths the coverlet. She closes her eyes and counts not numbers but things that soften, fresh bread cooling, linen drying on a line, the long, unspooling cord of a day that has forgiven itself. She whispers a prayer the sisters taught for sleep, not of fear or plea, but of thanks for small strengths, the plant that yielded its leaf, the hand that needed only gentle care, the bell that remembered when to ring. Then she lies back, palms open, a gesture that tells the body the work is finished. The sachet's breath finds her. Lavender, linden, a shy chamomile moon. Your own breath knows what to do now. In, gathering the day like flowers into a quiet bundle. Out, setting the bundle on the shelf of night. Safe and reachable, but not needed. A garden within. As she drifts, Elawen's thoughts plant themselves in a dream. She is walking the abbey's herb beds again, box hedges a waist-high maze, labels inked in a careful hand, salvia, matricaria, achillea, but the garden is not in the abbey after all. It is within her, paths of breath, beds of silence, a well that refills as she sleeps. She stoops to touch the rosemary, its pine-sharp fragrance whittling the last splinters from her mind. Bees drone mathematically happy in the time, drawing lines of gold between clover bells. Hildegard's wisdom passes like a sister in the walk, not stopping, simply blessing the air. All the green that heals already loves you, the passing seems to say. And Elawen understands what she tells her patients, but forgets for herself. That rest is not a reward, but a root, that healing grows when you stop asking it to hurry. The dream garden widens until it is the meadow at dawn again, dew daring the sunlight, and she's kneeling by lavender, the first bird finally certain of its song. When the bird sings, the note is not a bird after all. It is the curfew bell, or the compline bell, or perhaps it is simply your breath turning over in perfect time. The long, gentle fade. Back in the cottage, the ember under ash gives a last friendly stir. The rushlight wears its tiny halo, and the linden keeps the window like a watchful neighbour, painting soft green geography upon the wall. Elawen's breath is slow water now. Her hands are quiet fields. Sleep arrives as a kind gardener with no spade. Only a watering can, a lantern shaded, and the patience of seasons. If any stray worry wanders up the lane, it finds the door latched kindly and the candle low. A note on the sill that reads, "Tomorrow will gladly greet you. Tonight belongs to rest. So let your own body learn from hers. Let your thoughts step off the road and sit on the low wall, wrists on knees, watching the stars be practical. Let your spine become the good linden trunk, upright when you need it, swaying just enough with the breeze. Feel the mattress cradle you like earth cradles a seed. Notice how the pillow knows your name. Let the sachet's phantom fragrance drift toward you, not insisting, only reminding. If sleep is a garden, you have watered it. The gates are open, the paths are clear. You may wander in as softly as breath enters the body. In, the leaves listen. Out, the world answers, rest. And if a bell sounds in the distance, whether of curfew or dawn, know that it rings for rhythm, not demand, for belonging, not burden. Here, at the edge of a misty woodland, where abbey gardens remember every hand that tended them, and every plant keeps its small, shining soul, the healer of Linden Vale sleeps, and so may you. Let the last of the evening fold itself like linen, cool and clean and ready. Let your breath choose the easiest path. Let the room become simple. Let the earth beneath you feel closer than ever, steady as faith, soft as moss. And if you need one more kindness, Place your attention upon the smallest sound in the room, the one even smaller than that, until it becomes the quiet bell that tells your body, it is safe to dream. Now the story grows silent, the cottage grows dim, and the garden of sleep opens its gate. Good night, dear one, good night. The end.